There has been no Nike commercial for Clark as a pro.
Nike is obviously the biggest brand in athletic apparel, and Caitlin seemed to be a perfect fit for the brand. Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring?
Based on conversations with people in the know, it indeed has something to do with the WNBA MVP and Nike athlete A'ja Wilson. But beyond Wilson, it's about the culture of the company that's more concerned with quelling noise rather than making it, as Nike once used to.
Has officially signed with Adidas, leaving Nike. Her former sponsor in the dust. This game-changing move signals not just a shift in her career, but a massive shakeup in the world of sports endorsements.
Nike hasn't produced one ad or commercial featuring Clark since she turned pro, and despite a signature shoe being part of Nike's agreement with Clark, it may not be released until 2026, according to sports business reporter Ethan Strauss. He reports Nike wants to prioritize A'ja Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star who just won league MVP for the third time.
The rising star who's been dominating Hellline while be leaving Nike for a huge deal with none other than Adidas. But there's more. Angel Reese, Caitlin's biggest rival both on and off the court, just took a major hit as Clark snagged a deal that could reshape the entire endorsement landscape in women's sports. This battle is just getting started. Let's dive into all the details. Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom has been nothing short of phenomenal, from her jaw-dropping performances with the Indiana Fever, where she's not only set records but completely transformed the team's trajectory, to her magnetic presence that's brought a massive spotlight back to women's basketball. She's become the face of the sport's new era. Fans, analysts, and brands alike have pegged her as Nike's next big star. Adidas, the brand that's been making serious moves to dominate in women's sports, has just pulled off a monumental shift, grabbing Caitlin Clark as their newest global ambassador. But this isn't your average endorsement deal. It's about power, prestige, and a vision for the future of basketball. Adidas sees Caitlin Clark as the centerpiece of their strategy, betting on her to lead the charge in the next era of women's sports. It's clear that they're looking at Clark not just as a player, but as the face of their future. The brand that's been making serious moves to dominate in women's sports has just pulled off a monumental shift, grabbing Caitlin Clark as their newest global ambassador. But this isn't your average endorsement deal. It's about power, prestige, and a vision for the future of basketball. Adidas sees Caitlin Clark as the centerpiece of their strategy, betting on her to lead the charge in the next era of women's sports. It's clear that they are looking at Clark not just as a player, but as the face of their future. Caitlin Clark's blockbuster Adidas deal has completely shaken up the endorsement landscape, overshadowing every other contract and putting Angel Reese, once Nike's rising star, on notice. Reese, seen for months as the face of Nike's future in women's basketball, now faces stiff competition as Clark's move to Adidas changes the game. This isn't just about performance on the court, it's about who will dominate off the court. Adidas is all in on Clark, positioning her as the future of women's sports, while Nike, the longtime powerhouse, finds itself unexpectedly playing catch-up. As Clark claims the spotlight, Reese must navigate a rapidly shifting endorsement world, with Adidas and Clark now leading the charge. Nike's silence in the wake of Caitlin Clark's monumental shift to Adidas is striking and indicative of a deeper issue. In an industry known for its swift reactions and bold statements, the absence of any press releases, comments, or public acknowledgement from Nike speaks volumes. This silence suggests a level of vulnerability that the brand hasn't shown in recent memory, particularly with an athlete as influential as Clark making a groundbreaking move to their biggest competitor. It becomes evident that Nike may have underestimated the significance of Clark's decision. Recognized as one of basketball's brightest stars, Clark's transition to Adidas isn't just another endorsement. It's a game-changing moment that alters the competitive landscape of women's sports. Adidas has not merely secured a high-profile athlete, they've positioned Clark as the face of their future, signaling a strategic pivot that could redefine the market. This bold move places Adidas squarely in the spotlight, allowing them to assert themselves as leaders in a space traditionally dominated by Nike. The implications of Clark's deal extend beyond just dollars and contracts. It represents a significant shift in power dynamics within the sports endorsement landscape. Adidas is now taking a commanding lead in women's sports, suggesting that they recognize the potential not only in Clark's on-court talent, but also in her ability to connect with fans and inspire the next generation of athletes. This shift is particularly poignant given Nike's long-standing reputation as the king of sports endorsements, where they have enjoyed a comfortable monopoly over the market for years. With Clark's departure, Nike faces a critical juncture. If they do not respond swiftly and effectively, they risk losing not just one athlete, but potentially their stronghold on women's sports altogether. The stakes are higher than ever. And this situation serves as a wake-up call for Nike to reassess their strategies and adapt to an evolving landscape where competitors like Adidas are not just emerging but actively reshaping the narrative. In this competitive environment, every endorsement deal can have far-reaching consequences. An Adidas strategic maneuver to sign Clark could be seen as a harbinger of a larger trend. Will other rising stars follow suit, choosing to align with Adidas and potentially shift the balance of power in women's sports? Nike's failure to react could have cascading effects, not just on their brand, but on the entire landscape of sports endorsements as the battle for dominance continues to heat up. All eyes will be on Nike to see how they plan to reclaim their status in a game that is rapidly changing before our very eyes. The future of women's sports endorsements is being rewritten, and the excitement surrounding this pivotal moment is palpable. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The battle between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is not just a rivalry. It's emblematic of a larger struggle for the future of women's basketball and the fierce competition among the world's biggest brands to secure the most marketable athletes. Caitlin Clark's recent signing with Adidas transcends a mere endorsement deal. It sends a clear and powerful message that Adidas is fully committed to dominating this burgeoning space by bringing Clark on board. Adidas is positioning itself as the front-runner in the rapidly expanding market of women's sports. This strategic position reflects their recognition of the immense potential not only in Clark's impressive on-court performance, but also in her capacity to redefine what it means to be a global sports icon. Clark's influence extends beyond the basketball court. She embodies the spirit and aspirations of a new generation of female athletes who are breaking barriers and rewriting the narrative in sports. Adidas is tapping into that narrative, suggesting that they are not just interested in selling products, but in fostering a movement. In contrast, Nike, long regarded as the go-to brand for elite athletes, now finds itself scrambling to catch up in a rapidly evolving landscape where Adidas has taken a bold lead. The stakes in this endorsement battle are higher than ever. It's no longer just about securing a few key athletes, but about shaping the next era of women's sports. Nike's historic dominance in this space is under threat, and this moment serves as a wake-up call for the brand to reassess its strategies and re-engage with the evolving demands of female athletes and their audiences. The timing of this shift is significant. Women's basketball is experiencing unprecedented growth, both in terms of viewership and investment. This deal is not just a reflection of Caitlin Clark's individual talent. It's a clear indicator that the industry is ready to invest heavily in its stars, with more brands recognizing the value of women's sports. This could signal a turning point where female athletes receive the level of endorsement support that has historically been reserved for their male counterparts. Caitlin Clark's blockbuster Adidas deal is clearly just the beginning of something much bigger in the realm of sports endorsements. Angel Reese and Nike now find themselves needing to rethink their strategies after being knocked off the top spot. This rivalry is far from over, and the battle for brand dominance is intensifying, both on and off the court. The implications are significant. Adidas has made a bold move. Positioning itself as a leader in women's sports, Nike will need to respond decisively to reclaim its status. The future of women's sports is being reshaped before our eyes, and with rising stars like Clark and Reese in the mix, the landscape of endorsements is changing dramatically. The excitement is palpable as we witness this pivotal moment in sports history.